Yeah, that's great. Thank you. And maybe also Mrs. Hughes, as a resident, if you can share from the renovation project perspective, sort of what improvements that you've seen in that have come with the first phase. Um, I mean, I think it's a little bit tricky because we really completed phase one just as COVID began, and Sam arrived with us to, as we were just on the verge of being able to utilize all of our fresh spaces. But maybe there are still some advantages you can share that came out of the first phase.
Well, I've lived here since 2004. And as someone said to me long ago, it looks like a funeral home. Now, now it's a whole new world. We have new furniture, a new look, new art. It is simply a whole new world. And some of our residents are still adjusting to that because it's very generational, as you can imagine. But it's a kick up, it really is. And we're looking good, and I think we're pretty well finished with it. New dining area, the bistro, new dining rooms with wonderful names. We're looking very good here, and we're winding that up, I do believe. And we'll soon move on when the tower is connected to this original building. That will really be something. It's a whole new world, and we're very excited.
Well, thank you for your very honest answer.
If I might just piggyback on something Mrs. Hughes mentioned, I think, as she captured, we finally have, or, at least from the last 5 to 10 years, have a physical space that's reflective of the truly vibrant and an incredibly creative community that Roland Park Place is. And so, the art galleries on the first floor and in some of the common spaces is just one example of that. And I think we're so pleased that we now have the infrastructure that reflects who we are as a community. And, I also believe that we have the leadership in place. So Sam joined us just about a year ago. Sam, it probably feels like 3 days as well as 300 years, depending on how you want to look at it. But I think, what Sam brings to the table and what so impressed us on the executive committee as we were exploring candidates for the president's position was his incredible attention to resident facing issues and to hospitality and to high-end touches. And so, I think we were in a really good place before, but with Sam's expertise, he's really able, and now having this new infrastructure, he's really able to take Roland Park Place as a community to the next level. And I think that that's something for all of you to know, and that would be important as you consider, the decisions that you're looking at.
I think that's really also a great lead in to ask Sam about really what drew you to Roland Park Place, what's been happening this past year, and sort of what your priorities are for the community.
Thank you, Becky, and thank you, Kaylin. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for being with us today. I know it's you probably have so many other things to do, but taking the time to listen to us a little bit, I do appreciate it. And I have to say that I moved from Florida, so I envy you. And I know the weather was great, but I decided to move here because this community is really so attractive. I fell in love with the community. The residents were amazing when I came in to interview, but also the board of directors were so welcoming and really so easy to work with, which is really key. A little bit of my background, and I'm gonna skip very quickly on my background. I can spend days talking about it, but I really grew up in Europe, came here to go to school, Northeastern, Boston, met my wife, and here 30 years later, I'm still here. I used to manage hotels for a living, so I have a hospitality background for over 20 years. I used to manage Westin, Hilton, W Hotels, and Marriott's. And then about 10 years ago, I had an awakening. Like, I just had an epiphany that I had to take care of seniors as I was doing a great job taking care of guests. Why not go to senior living and take care of residents that need it the most. So since I managed community in Long Island and one in Florida, and this is my third one, and I love it. This is great. I think it's great relationship. Mrs. Hughes can probably tell you stories. I've been here for a year. It'll be a year in 10 days. It seems like it's been 10 years. We have really, all we have been focused is really to keep the residents safe. And our community has done tremendous compared to communities where the number of cases were very, very minimum. We take safety as one of the most important things. I really treat the residents like my mom and dad, so I'm so territorial when it comes to that. And we kept the residents so safe. Ms. Hughes can probably talk about that. And so far, we still continue as far as keeping the community safe, but also the fact that COVID is here doesn't mean that we're going to stop living. We have been doing so many things internally and try to create some surprises and upgrade the services and the dining. There's so many things that we put in place that sometimes you see in high-end hotels who are able to do it in senior living. It doesn't mean you can't do it. So especially from a dining standpoint or activities, but also connecting with the resident, because this is really, senior living is all about relationships. So we really know how to deal with residents on a daily basis. It's a person-to-person relationships, and it's been working. I have a great team that support me. If I can ask Mrs. Hughes to tell us how she feels, and Mrs. Hughes is very honest, by the way. That's how she is. She tell you the way it is. So Mrs. Hughes, if you could tell us a little bit about what have you seen in the past year, aside from COVID, because I'm not responsible for that. I just started when COVID started. But as far as what have you noticed? Sorry, I put you on the spot, Mrs. Hughes.
That's okay. I can handle it. Who's that? What have I seen in the last year or two? I have seen a new president come in to Roland Park Place. And I won't say he brought COVID, but it came right along there. And we all had to adjust to our falling in love with Sam, but also understanding the rules of the road in regard to COVID. And so that's been difficult. That's been difficult, but this is a brave little group, and we're bumping along very, very well. I think we're excited about the tower and what will happen there. We're hoping all good things, but actually the services are excellent. The people, the staff is so kind and understanding to a generation of people who have a little more trouble with change than younger people. And so I'm proud of all of us, but I'm most especially proud of Sam, because he could lead armies, I swear. He's just done a wonderful job for us, and we feel that we're in good hands.
Well, thank you. I might be able to lead armies, but I can never control my wife and kids. I don't even know how to do that. That's a different story. I have 3 girls, and I don't even know how to manage them, teenagers. So if anybody has any advice, they just call me when they want money. That's all. But anyway, so
Sam, they're managing you.
that's exactly, and I'm always wrong, and I don't know how to give advice to anybody. So thank you, Mrs. Hughes. At least you have confidence in me more than my kids. But I think, what I'm proud of is really we have, even though with COVID, we were able to find ways to connect with the residents somehow and family members. Of course, we are in complete shutdown in order to protect the residents. We don't allow anybody to visit, but the residents can go out and visit their family and meet them outside. It's been really hard for us because we see how hard it is for the resident for about a year not to be able to connect with their loved one. But my priority is to protect my residents from COVID. And so far, when you hear what's going on in other communities, we have done so well, so well. I'm so proud of the team and the residents. So far, we continue to do great. I'm not sure if Becky, you want me to talk about vaccination a little bit? Would you like me to segue into that? Oh, no.
Yes, you hold that
Okay.
thought for just a moment because we do have a question about what, what is the tower? We've talked about the tower a little
Okay,
bit.
sure.
So just a brief background on what the renovation and expansion has entailed. So the renovation being really all of our common spaces on the first and second floors. So we've added a new arts and education center. We've added a new theater. We've reimagined our healthcare spaces so that we have a dedicated memory support area. We've had updated all of our long-term care. So we have been able to accommodate a dedicated COVID observation space for those who maybe come back from the hospital. We've really been fortunate in that way. But we really have reimagined every common space of the community, all of the dining spaces and those things. So that's really the renovation. So the other goal of the project that we were talking about was adding some parking and expanding the independent living options so that we have some larger apartments available to meet the demand of the market, as well as just overall expanding the number of independent living residences that we have. So we had some priorities there that the board took on. And so we've really been able to deliver on the first phase of that, which is the renovation. And the tower that we refer to, the residents you're talking about, is what we've been calling our grand expansion. And so that is 58 new independent living apartments, a new community common space club room on the 8th floor with really incredible city views. And Darren will talk a little bit about that. And a new art studio and 4 levels of parking. So when you hear someone talk about the tower, that's what they're referring to. But I would like to come back to Sam to talk both about the vaccines and then maybe segue into what that means for us in terms of getting back to our future at Roland Park Place.
Yeah, I just wanted to go back to one comment you made. I think that which is important to me is the voice and the opinion of the residents is so important to me. So when I came here, Becky can probably talk a little bit about the art room was not really supposed to be an art room, was supposed to be something totally different. And I think my first week here, the residents had a concern that we wanted the better space for art because obviously the majority of the residents are so big on art here. Obviously we're downtown. So we had the residents involved into designing the art room. We had the group sit together, the expert, of course, that know much more art than me and Becky. And they sat down and with the architects and the designer, they designed the 2,000 square feet of space that we had for the art room. So now the art room that's going to be in the new building has been designed by the resident, which is great. And also the club room on the 8th floor also was designed by a few residents that wanted to look a certain way so they'll be able to play cards, watch TV, and have maybe a place where they can have a cocktail. So the residents' feedback is really important because at the end of the day, it's your home. So just I wanted to mention that the residents' voice is extremely important to me. As far as COVID, so we were able to, I can gladly say we were able to have 100% of the residents vaccinated. And that happened about 2.5 weeks ago. The second dose vaccine is happening next Tuesday. So by next Tuesday, we'll have 100% resident with the vaccine. And we're also able to get 82% of the employees get the vaccine, which is really high compared to the average. About a month ago, in the United States, the average nursing homes and hospitals and CCRCs like us, they were able to only get 38% of the staff vaccinated. Now the number went up to 53%. And we were at 82, so we feel really lucky, and we had worked hard to convince the staff to get vaccinated so we can start opening. Because of that I have 100% of the residents and 82% of the employees, we will start open our dining venues. So 2 weeks after Tuesday, which is around the 8th, 9th, we're gonna open our bistro back up. We're gonna open our coffee shop and our dining room with, of course, we're gonna have spaced out chairs and tables, and we're gonna start with 2 residents at a table, and then we'll see how things progress. So from an internal operation, we start opening. From an external, I'm working on a program right now to be able to open the community to the outside. System is working right now. I think that we want to do, we only want to allow people that are vaccinated to be able to visit residents. So if your son or daughter has a vaccine, that they have to prove to us they get vaccinated, and then we'll be able to allow them to come and visit their loved one here. I still have to be cautious, and I'm not going to open yet to everybody right now. I'm just going to open only to the people that have the vaccine. Based on what you hear out there, we anticipate to have at least 50% of the population with the vaccine by June. So as time goes by, we're going to have more family members be able to visit the community little by little. Because I think that I'm very conscientious about the isolation that my residents are going through, and I know how upset they are. They can't see their loved one, but my priority is their safety right now. So we are making progress, and little by little we're going to start opening. We eventually will start taking residents out to visit places like museum and allow them to go there, a small group with a chaperone. But I think that I feel comfortable that we see the light at the end of the tunnel from an operation standpoint. So the vaccine is very well welcome. I think in the beginning, as you see, the distribution in the country has been horrible. We were able to really work hard with the state. We were able to reach out to a senator who helped us get the vaccine through Walgreens. And by next Tuesday, I will sleep much better knowing that 100% of my residents had the vaccine. So they can start breathing a little bit much better.
Great. So,
anybody has any question about that?
Yeah.
Topic about the vaccine.
Any questions so far? You wish we
Ms.
pause?
Geller.
Go ahead.
The only question I had was, so currently during the lockdown, and I know the dining spaces aren't able to be open, are there any activities inside the building that the residents are able to do, whether it's like a spaced out exercise class, or is there anything that they're doing, not just stuck in their rooms? Like,
Sure. Yeah, we do everything. We did not stop. However, we do groups of 5 or 6, maximum of 10, because the Maryland governor is only required us to have a group of 10 maximum gather, no more than 10. So for instance, today, Thursday, every Thursday I have a group of residents. They sign up and they meet with me. So 9 residents plus me in a room, and we talk about anything. It's just open conversation. And on Monday, Tuesday, I have a couple of social workers also that meet with different residents. So we have meetings, we have exercise groups every single day. The pool is open, but very small amount of people. We used to have a exercise by 10, 15 people. Now we do 5 maximum, but we do several groups during the day. We have lectures. We have so many things. We had to adapt, really. I think the challenge is the residents are not able to see each other in a large setting, or to be able to go out and visit places that they used to do. That is a frustration, but we try to be as creative as we can to do so many things internally. We have also created a Zoom class because a lot of residents did not know how to use technology. So I think my IT guys have been very busy going upstairs trying to teach some residents how to use that. And we created some university online. We have classes every day, university online. So we're creative. We're trying to be as creative as we can. But so far, it cannot take away the fact that residents still want to go out and they still want to do their own thing.
I'd like to switch over too, because we are talking a little bit about the board's role today. And Kaylin, if you could share a little bit about, what is the board's role at Roland Park Place? What type of person is represented on the board? And what is the role in guiding the strategic vision of Roland Park Place?
Absolutely, Becky. I'd be glad to. So Roland Park Place is a nonprofit organization, and so the board of directors that is in place is all voluntary. And I would say, from my recruitment to now being somebody as an active member who is actively trying to recruit new board members, we are very strategic in our recruitment, and we have a very, very diverse collection of people with personal and professional passions and relationships that, ultimately can be used for leveraged by Roland Park Place for advancement there. You know, as the vice chair, I think that there has been a history from the board leadership that, you know, we want to empower our executive team under our president's leadership to go out and do great things, but we are, you know, historically not involved in operational things. It's very much governance, guidance, advisory, you know, big idea, strategy for the community. You know, that as Mrs. Hughes mentioned, the whole expansion project was conceptualized thanks to the leadership of the board. What I would also say, and I think from my conversations with other board members at other similar communities like ours, is our board does seem to be perhaps more inclusive from a resident's perspective than perhaps other communities. And so I think that's so critical. I can't imagine it working in a different way because I think our residents are ultimately the people who, you know, spend the most time in the community. So it's their community first and foremost. And I think, you know, those of us who, you know, previously had no connection to Roland Park Place like myself, you know, it's very important to us that we don't try to impose our wants, our needs, our thoughts at the, you know, at the limitation of the residents' experience. I think, you know, the other piece that's been really interesting is not only do we have resident representation on the board, but we also have had at least one member in my time that I've been on who has been, you know, a family member of a current or a past resident. And so, you know, I think the experience of, especially like an adult child of a resident, you know, you really think about things in different ways. And so just like Sam, you know, Sam, you may have picked up on my residents, our residents, you know, there really is this feeling of ownership in a protective way that even the board feels. You know, we feel responsible for the community. We only want to see, you know, see it flourish and have the best opportunities and be positioned in the best way for all of our residents. And we're really just honored to be a part of the community. I'm looking forward to being on the other side of this because I missed going up to Roland Park Place for residents association meetings and, you know, having dinner with some of the residents before. You know, the food was wonderful pre-Sam's arrival, and now I'm really looking forward to experiencing the dining services now that he's made some changes and we have great new facilities and what have you. And, you know, I guess what I would say, and this is Becky not answering your question, hopefully I've done that, you know, acceptably, but, you know, I think that there was a really strong executive team when Sam stepped in, and he has really great people in place and has made some really good promotions and hires in the short time that he's been here. And so I think top to bottom, you know, the board has incredible confidence in the executive team, and we're not, you know, we don't want to interfere. We only want to be there as a resource, you know, resources for Sam and his team, because volunteers can sometimes help navigate things in ways different than if you're an official, you know, representative of the organization. And so, you know, we see ourselves being at the community service, truthfully.
Thank you. Yeah, I'd love to just hearing you talk about the dining experience. I think it's a good opportunity for Sam to really talk about, you know, what are the initiatives, what are the main focuses for Roland Park Place, you know, kind of what are the most important next steps, and where's the real focus and priorities going to be at the community.
Sure. Thank you, Becky. So unfortunately with COVID, it was so hard for me to put anything in place. But the two things that I want to focus on, and we already started, Becky and I and Melissa, who is my director of dining services, we started work on a couple of things, basically upgrade the dining experience and focus more on wellness, because I think wellness is so important for the residents moving forward. So from a dining perspective, we started having these monthly meetings, sometimes every 2 months, depends on the residents' availability, to have a group of residents that are involved in dining to give us some feedback, what would they like to do. So I can tell you the topic this month is really look at all the items that we have and see if we can minimize the salt in all the soups. And the chef is working hard on minimizing the salt, and then creating more healthy items on the menu. The residents are looking for more healthy items. So we're working with the group that was selected by the resident to listen to exactly what would you like to see on the menu, because at the end of the day, it's your menu, it's your kitchen. So we want you to tell us what you want to see. And I think it's a work in progress. There's something also I just started, which the residents seem to really like it. We created this voicemail that residents can call every single night after dinner to give us feedback, what they like and dislike. So those voicemails are listened to by my assistant the next day. And by the way, she's the only one who has access to the voicemail, so nobody can alter the comments of the resident. And then she records them. And then all those comments are put in a spreadsheet for me to look at, and the director of dining. So those feedbacks are really direction for us to listen to what needs to be done. Some of them are good, some of them are not so good, which is fine. I like to see the good and the bad. So every single week, the director of food and beverage sits with the team and say, last week, you know what, we had an issue here, an issue there. But also her job is to get back to every single resident who called within 48 hours to say, Mrs. Hughes, thank you. I got your feedback. Here's what we're doing. We just started that, and it seems to be really taken off. The residents love it. They now will listen to what they have to say. And eventually, in the next couple of months, we'll probably get a better idea what the residents are looking for, what direction they want to go. So the only thing is, remember, I have about 250 pallets, so I can't please them all. But I think we're going to try to do the best we can, because sometimes 10 people have the same dish and you have 10 different feedback about who likes it or doesn't. We're going to try to please the majority. So I think that we're listening. Every single feedback comes back to me. I see it. And then the director of food and beverage puts action plan. After she talks to the resident, she puts a feedback, how the conversation went. And then all those feedback come back to me on a daily basis to follow up. I'm like the gatekeeper, because I want to make sure I know what's going on. So that is the direction we're taking. But also, we're getting our dietitian more involved in creating the menu, which we have not done in the past. The dietitian has been really focused more on the health center, but we have not involved the dietitian with the independent living to make sure we create some menu with the chef that are healthy, that are balanced, that are based on, healthy living. So that's where we take in the food and beverage. From a wellness standpoint, we just started this month. It's really hard to do things where there's COVID now, but the wellness, we are trying to, every single month, we're going to try to pick a topic to do prevention as opposed to after the fact, right? So there's this month, I know Becky just finished putting like the final touches with the director of wellness, that we're going to try to do some lectures based on a topic that the residents would like to hear. It could be about balance. How do we do a lecture? We're going to bring some doctors, not physically, but we're going to do it on Zoom to talk about balance, or to talk about nutrition, or talk about GERD, which is a lot of residents want to hear about that. So it's going to be more prevention moving forward. And in conjunction with my team that works in the health club, they're going to try to do some classes in conjunction with that. So the wellness is really big for us. To me, it's not wellness, let's wait until something happens. Let's be preventive ahead of time and get people to work on getting better. So it's just a work in progress. It will, as soon as we start opening little by little, this program will take off. But this is just right now, we just started working on that. The first month is March. We have a whole program ready to go for the residents. I'm not going to share it with you yet, because I haven't shared it with Mr. Hughes yet. It's still not out yet, but we have a lot of lectures. We're involving our doctors. We have 2 doctors here, a medical director and a Dr. Youssef and Dr. Don. They're both going to be doing lectures here. So we're getting the whole community involved in this to just make sure it takes off in March.
Great. So I thank you. I do want to, Darren and I are going to talk about more general information about Roland Park Place. What are the services? What are the amenities? What you can expect. And we're going to move on from there. But before we do move on, I was wondering if anyone had questions for Mrs. Hughes as a former board member, or probably most importantly as a resident, or for Sam as the president of Roland Park Place, or for Kaylin as a board member. to answer any questions you have sort of in that realm before we press on to sort of the next segment of our presentation. Anyone with a question? Sorry about the, I have a little construction noise behind me. The sound of progress, so. Okay, so if everyone does not have any questions, we'd love for Mrs. Hughes and certainly Sam and Kaylin to stick around if some questions pop up, and we'll sort of press on to talk a little bit more about some general information about Roland Park Place and then how you can join us. So I'm gonna come back to being able to share my screen again, and we'll move through a bit. All right, do you see the past? Okay. We've talked a little bit about this already, so I'm going to actually, I'll move the slides, but I'm going to ask Darren to give you some information here.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for coming today. My name is Darren McDonald. I'm one of the sales associates here at Roland Park Place. And I'm going to go through some of the things that make Roland Park Place so special to all of our residents. One thing I want to say is our Roland Park Place is a life plan community. We're the only ones located in Baltimore City. So we attract a lot of people who love the hustle and bustle of city living, as well as if their family members lived in the city and they want to be close to their families. So that's what attracts a lot of people to Roland Park Place, plus all the great services and amenities that we offer to all of our residents. So I'm just going to touch on these a little bit. One thing I want to stress, or I want to tell you all, when I'm touring people through the community, they always, at the end of the tours, we're sitting discussing things, they always mention the relationship between the staff and the resident. They notice things as we're touring. They notice that. And I'd like to say in my 5 years here, that's what attracted me to Roland Park Place, is the relationship between the staff and the residents is a very strong relationship. We're a small community. We get to know one another. We look out for one another. And that's a really big plus for Roland Park Place. So I just wanted to point that out for you. But I'm going to touch on some of the services and amenities, not all of them, but just some of them because of the time constraint. But when you move to Roland Park Place, you are paying a monthly service fee, which Becky will talk on in just a few moments. But some of the things that are included in your monthly service fee, all your utilities are included: heat, water, air conditioning, electricity, cable TV, Wi-Fi service, IT services, which is very popular here at Roland Park Place. So they are all included in your monthly fee. Your meals and room service are included. It's a 1 meal per day that all residents receive. The one stipulation is you have to use all of that in the month. You can't carry it over to the next month. So you must use it in the month. Housekeeping is included. Every other week they come in and clean your apartment. We have linen service that we offer once a week. Our staff will come in, change your linens for you, take your dirty linens away with bath towels, clean everything, fold it nice and neat, and bring it back to your apartment. Home maintenance and repair. We never want anybody to get up on a step ladder and try to change a light bulb or hang a picture. Just call our maintenance guys and they will come up and take care of that for you. Now, if you are an active driver, you receive a designated parking space, either around the community or in our expansion, we have a 4-level parking garage. Transportation to and from all doctor's appointments. Our staff, our gentlemen in our transportation office will take you on one of our sedans, pick you up when you're done and bring you back. Transportation to all activities that are on the activity calendar. So whenever there's an activity on the calendar that requires transportation, like going to a museum or the theater, we provide that transportation for you. Concierge valet services, our front desk, 24-hour security. Our front desk is the focal point of Roland Park Place, as it is in many communities. The staff at the front desk are very genuine people. They know all the residents. They know their likes, their dislikes. They're there for you to give advice or whatever our residents need. We do offer valet services. If you needed to have your car pulled up, your car parked, packages taken up to your apartment, our front desk staff will do that for you. We have an on-site medical clinic and physician services, which Sam had talked about. I kind of say it's kind of like our patient first. It's open Monday through Friday, 8 to 4:30. We have 2 physicians on staff, 2 nurse practitioners, RNs, LPNs. It's open and available to all of our residents. When you move into Roland Park Place, we offer the services of a senior move consultant, which many of our residents take advantage of. You also have an extra storage space in the community. Flip right on along, Becky. Our cultural and educational programs. I'm going to take a moment here to say that we probably have the best activity program of any community in the area. We are known for all of our cultural and educational programs that we offer to our residents. That's one reason, the major reason why we built our new Arts and Education Center. It is a 200-seat, state-of-the-art auditorium, raised stage, backstage area. That is where we have all of our great lectures that we bring in and all of our great entertainment that we bring into our residents. So we're really proud of that space. And when you come in to visit, I will show you that space. Our fitness center, an indoor heated swimming pool. As Sam talked about, our health and wellness program that we bumped up. We have contracted with the National Institute of Fitness and Sports, and they run our fitness center. Shay and Allison are great directors. Great relationship with the residents. They have increased participation of the use of the fitness center and the pool area, whether you take a class, join the walking club, come in and swim laps, or work in the gym. They have increased participation. Up to 82% of our independent living residents are participating in the fitness center, which is awesome. Right outside the fitness center, we have raised garden plots for all of our residents. So if you're a gardener, you don't have to stop doing that when you move to Roland Park Place. We have a boutique on the first level right by the front entrance. So it's kind of like our little store for all of our residents. Sam spoke about our art studio in the expansion. We're pretty proud of. It's going to be a large area with great natural lighting in there, lots of good light in there. Religious services. We are a non-denominational community. We have a full-time chaplain on staff. So Tina York is our chaplain. She provides services for all religious communities here at Roland Park Place. Our salon, we have a beauty salon as well as a barber shop for the gentlemen. I already talked about a reception desk. Furnished guest suites. So if you have family or friends who want to visit you, they can stay right here in our community. We do have 2 furnished guest suites for them. I already talked about our Arts and Education Center, which we're really proud of. We have a movie theater through the renovation of our existing building. We never had a movie theater, a 30-seat movie theater. We repositioned our library and business center, which is completely run by our residents. We have a coffee shop, which we've never had before. Our dining, which Sam has spoken about. All the dining is in one area to be accessible to all of our residents, as well as our bistro and our pub area. All right, so now I'm going to talk about some of our floor plans in our existing building and the grand expansion. So a little bit about our existing building. We have 24 different floor plans in our existing building. They range from 574 square feet up to over 2,000 square feet. We have views of Baltimore City, our beautiful courtyard, and the Roland Park canopy. We have 1 and 2 bedroom apartments, and we do have some that are move-in ready as we speak. All of our apartments have balconies or patios. All the first floor apartments do have patios. And in the existing building, it's convenient to all the dining and amenity spaces that we have here. So I'm just going to touch on a couple of floor plans that we have available. The Sawgrave is a 1-bedroom apartment. It's 716 square feet. It does have, all of our apartments have washers and dryers. I always get that question. So all of them have washers and dryers. As you see in this floor plan, you have a large living space, a nice kitchen. The bedroom is off to your right with a large balcony. It is a corner unit, and all of the Sawgraves face either south or southwest. And that is one of our popular 1-bedroom apartments, and we do have a Sawgrave available. So if you go onto the Roland. Now our larger apartments in the existing building are actually 2 apartments, 2 small apartments combined. That's another reason why we're building the expansion. We needed larger apartments. We're getting requests for larger apartments. We don't have the inventory to combine apartments. So the expansion comes along with that. So here's the Roland. This is one of our more popular 2-bedroom apartments. So as you can see, it has 2 balconies because it is 2 apartments combined. bedrooms on either side, large living, dining space, walk-through kitchen, which is very nice. Now the Roland has views of, it's located in different areas of the existing buildings. So you have views of the courtyard, you have southern views, you have west and east views, and on different levels of the existing building as well. It is 1,148 square feet, 2-bedroom apartment, 2-bath also. All right, if we go on, Becky, thank you, to the grand expansion. This is what many of you are here to learn about today, our grand expansion. We have 18 new floor plans. They range in size from 888 square feet up to over 2,000. Also views of the Baltimore City, courtyard, and Roland Park canopy. In the expansion, the big difference between the expansion apartments and the existing building, besides being brand new, in the expansion, it is more of an open floor concept where you walk into your apartment to a very spacious kitchen with an island that leads right into your living dining room space. So that's the big difference. Also in the expansion, there are 9-foot ceilings as opposed to 8-foot ceilings in our existing building. All upgraded finishes and appliances in the expansion, and we continue in the expansion with our large balconies and patios for the apartments on the first level in the expansion. So I'm going to touch on 3 different floor plans in the expansion. The Beachdale is a 1-bedroom apartment. It is 1,018 square feet. As you can see at the bottom, you walk through the apartment into your kitchen with an island with seating at the island. It opens into your dining and living space. Off of your living room, you go right out onto your nice balcony. The master suite is on your right-hand side with a large walk-in closet. There's only 1 Beachdale left, so if you're looking for a nice, spacious 1-bedroom at 1,018 square feet, I encourage you to inquire soon about that because it will be gone. The Beachdale faces west into our beautiful courtyard area. The next one is the Hawthorn. This is the floor plan that we have the most of in the expansion. We have different Hawthorns. They're all the same floor plan, but the square footage is a little bit different. So they range in size from 1,264 square feet up to 1,074 square feet. As you can see, you walk into the apartment of the Hawthorn. There's your kitchen with the island. Seating at the island, again, opens into your lovely dining living space. On the left-hand side is your master suite with large walk-in closet with your bathroom with double vanity. And then on the right-hand side is your 2nd bedroom and 2nd bath as well. And the Hawthorn are located either on the west, looking into the courtyard, or on the east, overlooking the Baltimore City, Roland Park, Guilford, Homeland canopies. So beautiful apartment, the Hawthorn. We do have several of those available. Now we'll go to our largest apartment, which is the Overhill. The Overhill is 2,074 square feet. It is a 2-bedroom, 2.5 bath with a den and a separate laundry room. So as you walk into the apartment from the top of the floor plan there, you walk into a nice foyer area, into your dining space, your kitchen with a large island, with seating at the island into your living space. On your left-hand side of this picture is your 2nd bedroom. You see the den there that leads right out onto the balcony, so that is your den. And then on the right-hand side of the floor plan is your master suite with his and her walk-in closets, double vanities in the bathroom, and you see at the top of the screen the separate laundry room there. So lots of great storage in this Overhill. We do have one available on the 3rd level and one available on the 5th level, and these face south. So if you like a lot of sun, you're going to want to look at the Overhill. So that's just some of the floor plans in the expansion and in our existing building. I encourage you to call, make an appointment. I'd love to show you around. We can see the grand expansion. We can't go into it yet because it's still being built, but we can sit and talk about all the different floor plans, and I can show you all the great common spaces and all of the renovations that we have done to the existing building. So I look forward to meeting you all in person and showing you around Roland Park Place. Thanks for your time.
So now that Darren's told you all about the wonderful, beautiful, fun, exciting things about Roland Park Place. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the business end and what type of fees are that go along with all those beautiful, wonderful amenities and services. So when you move to Roland Park Place, there are two main fees that you want to consider. One is the accommodation fee, and essentially that is the entrance fee that you pay when you move in. So a lot of people will utilize the funds from the sale of their home to pay the accommodation fee. And with the accommodation fee, you essentially have two contract types to select from. The first being the traditional plan. So for the traditional accommodation fee, you'll pay your entrance fee up front. In the current building, those start at about $215,000 and change with the size of the apartment. And you pay that when you move in, and the amount of that fee that is refundable to you declines over a 60-month period. So once you're here more than 5 years, you would not be getting any refund on the accommodation fee that you paid under the traditional plan. Alternatively, you may take opt to take the refund option. So the refund options start at about $370,000, and that is the amount that you pay is 90% refundable no matter how long you're at Roland Park Place. So if you live at Roland Park Place for 6 months or 30 years, the amount of that accommodation fee that you paid when you moved in is 90% refundable, no matter how long you've been here. So additionally, with the expansion, there is a different price point for the refund option accommodation fee, where you would pay a higher accommodation fee and a lower monthly service fee associated with that. So for specifics about that, we'll encourage you to have an appointment with one of us, and we'll go through that in more detail. But in addition to the accommodation fee for every month that you live at Roland Park Place, you would be paying a monthly service fee. So those monthly service fees start just under $4,000 in our existing building and change again with the size of the apartment. So again, we encourage you to meet with us to go over what makes the most sense for you. I'll preface this by saying I am not a tax advisor, and no one at Roland Park Place will give you tax advice. However, a portion of your accommodation fee the year you move in, and a portion of your monthly service fee for every month that you live at Roland Park Place can be considered a prepaid medical expense, because a portion of what you're paying goes to pay for the services that we provide in our healthcare center. So in moving to Roland Park Place, if your needs should change, then you have, as what we call a type A community, you can have an expectation that your monthly fees will follow you through the continuum. So if at a later point you need assisted living or you need skilled nursing, either on a temporary or long-term basis, the monthly fee that you're paying in your independent living apartment will be the monthly fee that you're paying in the future. It's a little more complicated with a couple, and again, we'll be happy to talk through your specific situation and what makes sense for you and your family when you come in and meet with Darren or myself or Sandy or Liz. So that being said, as we talk about those fees, we do have some really exciting incentives that we are offering right now for those people who are looking to make a move in the near future. And so either into our existing building or into our expansion. So I will start with the expansion apartments, because we do have already built in some really wonderful benefits to the folks who have deposited already to our expansion and who plan to make a deposit and reserve an apartment in the expansion. So we do have some of the Priority Club membership benefits available. We have 9 more of those that are budgeted for the next 9 depositors to our expansion. And those residents will get a 5% discount off of their accommodation fee. So depending on the size of your apartment, could be up to a $70,000 savings. A monthly service fee credit for up to $5,000 for moving expenses for the expansion. So, so all those things associated with the move you make from your current home to your apartment that'll be available this fall, we can offer a credit to you off of the monthly service fee for those expenses. Additionally, a $100 discount off of the second person monthly service fee for as long as you live at Roland Park Place. So these are some really great things that we're offering for those folks who are making a decision to put down a deposit on the expansion apartment. And I should mention that putting down a deposit on an expansion depositor consists of paying a deposit of 10% of the accommodation fee for the apartment you've selected. And that deposit is fully refundable if you decide not to move forward and move into that expansion apartment. So for those folks who are number 10, maybe the next depositor who does not make it into the priority club because they've missed that cutoff, there are still benefits here of a 3% discount off the accommodation fee, a monthly service fee credit up to $2,500 for moving expenses, and additionally that still having that $100 discount for the second person fee. So a lot of great reasons to be among the next 9, but if you're number 10, you still get some great benefits there. So just want to share with you some additional benefits if you do decide to make that decision sooner. So the first being option 1, which is that if you make your deposit in the next, I guess it's about a week now coming up, then when you move into the apartment in around September, October time, that you will not be paying a monthly service fee for the first 6 months of your occupancy. So you could get to this time next year before you're responsible for paying a monthly service fee. So if you do have your eye on an apartment and you're thinking you might want to deposit, go ahead and talk to Darren and make your deposit. And you can still cancel, but if you do move forward, you've got a good long time of not having to pay a monthly service fee. So option 2, if you just can't get that done in the next week, is that if you manage to put that deposit down before April 1st, you can still get a 5-month credit on the monthly service fee. So if for some reason you still can't quite make that decision by April 1st, by May 1st, you can still get a benefit with 4 months off of the monthly service fee if you put that deposit down by May 1st. And I know you're recognizing a theme here. By June 1st, you'll still get 3 months. But that's it. I'm just kidding. You have some months of credit associated with your reservation deposit there. But there's really, if you're considering putting down a deposit on the expansion, there's some great reasons to not wait. It really is refundable, and I'm going to go over a few more reasons why it's a good time to do that. So for the existing apartments, if you're thinking, I don't need something that big, or I'm ready to make a move sooner, and I'm going to tell you some other good reasons why making a move sooner is a great idea. You do have an option of Roland Park Place paying the interest on a bridge loan for you. If you're thinking, well, I do want to sell my house this spring, I don't know if it's going to sell right away, I'm worrying about paying the accommodation fee and then managing the costs of my home, not having the proceeds of the sale of my home to pay that. You can take out a bridge loan, pay the accommodation fee, and then Roland Park Place will make the payments on that, the interest of that bridge loan for up to 6 months. So there's some caveats there for the maximum amount of that. Can't be more than the accommodation fee, but it's a good way to buy yourself a little more time and a little more security so that you don't feel the pressure to try and get your house sold. So again, for the existing apartments, if that's not the option for you, if you do occupy on or before May 31st, then we will go ahead and waive the monthly service fee for 4 months instead. That may be a better option for you. So you can move into Roland Park Place and not pay your monthly service fee for the first several months. Maybe you don't need the sale of your house, or maybe your house will sell quickly. So a lot of good reasons to think about moving forward. But we can talk to you individually about what might make the most sense for you based on your particular circumstance. Additionally, if you're ready to move and you're like, I just want to move and I don't want to be in my house while I try to sell it, you can move in pretty quickly and then not have to pay your accommodation fee until the end of May. So you can move in, start paying your monthly fees, but not be responsible for that accommodation fee until the end of May. Maybe your house would sell quickly. And I will share with you, we've worked with some of our project partners who are helping with our moves for our folks into the expansion, who are familiar with the real estate market across the country. And it really is a great time to make this decision if you're thinking it's going to happen in the next year or so for you. So just to recap, for the existing apartments, you have 3 options. We will pay the interest on your bridge loan, or you can take advantage of 4 free months off of the monthly service fee, or you can move in earlier and defer the accommodation fee to the end of May. Now for the expansion apartments, a little recap is more of an and, right? So you can get between 3 and 6 months off of the monthly service fee, depending on when you deposit, and between 3 and 5% off of the accommodation fee, and between up to $2,500 or $5,000 in moving expense credit, and $100 off of the second person monthly service fee. So a lot of really great options, regardless of what apartment you're considering. So if this is the year or close to it, even early next year, when you're thinking this is when I want to move to Roland Park Place, these are some offers you are not likely to see. And maybe Mrs. Hughes can vouch that we don't often offer a lot of move-in incentives for Roland Park Place. The real estate market is on fire. So how long will that last? If I could predict that for you, I might not be sitting right here, but it is a great time to sell a house. There are buyers out there. As the parent of school-age children who are at home learning virtually, I can tell you everyone is evaluating the house that they live in and dreaming of something that fits just a little bit better and has a little more space. So, so it's a great time to sell. And you'll never have more apartment choices right now. We have an expansion that we're building with large apartments. We're building that because we didn't have large apartments available. We have had, limited access to our existing building over the past year. And so we have more apartments than we typically would have in our existing building. So we have what you're looking for now, regardless of what that apartment is. Now's the time when we have that. So it's a great time to make that decision. So the next steps, really, in the order that makes sense for you, my recommendation is the first thing to do is to either talk to Darren, talk to myself, Sandy, or Liz about your personal situation, what your timeline is, what your apartment preference is. Talk to your realtor if you have one. Talk to your financial advisor if you have one. Make an appointment to come see what's available here. And then if you're considering the expansion apartment, really make sure that you select the apartment that you're looking for. There are some really great options available right now. And I think as the vaccine makes things open up for us and we're able to have, and the building gets built, we'll have a lot more folks coming in to look at that. So really do want you to take advantage of that if that's something you're considering. So I will open it back up for questions. I've talked quite a lot, and Ames will help me figure out how to get myself back off of the, oh, stop share. Whoop, thank you. So, okay, here we go. I do have a question. Is that, are we pet friendly? So I'm going to let Mrs. Hughes actually answer that one.
Oh my goodness, yes. Well, when we moved in 2004, my husband and I moved in along with our dog known as Mr. Sweetie. And he was with us. I took him to health care when my husband was in healthcare for years. He was with us until 2018. And he had lots of girlfriends here. There were even some who had little treats in their pockets. And when they would see Mr. Sweetie, they would give him a treat. So yes, it was a grand experience. I enjoyed walking him on the property, and he loved all the ladies. He was in love with all the ladies here. Yes, good experience.
Any other questions? That's the only one I see in the chat. Anyone just have anything, they can certainly unmute yourself and share, but I know we went over by a little bit, but I'm chatty. So, okay, if there are any other questions, certainly we will reach out to you if you haven't reached out to us, and just to follow up and see if you have any specific questions that we can answer. And I do want to thank Mrs. Hughes and Kaylin and Sam for their time today. You know, thanks to the team here, and most especially thanks to you for sharing your time with us. And as I said, we're happy to follow up and answer questions, and we would love for you, as soon as you feel comfortable coming to have a tour with us in person. If you would like a virtual tour, we can offer that. Another question, how many residents are there? So we have currently about, how many residents are there now, Sam?
255.
Well, combined for the entire community, it's about 225, about.
25. So, and we'll be adding the 58 apartments. So we're looking for another maybe 70, 80
It'll be close to 300.
residents to be joining us this fall. Okay. So thanks again to everyone. Be very safe today if you're in this area or somewhere where it's icing and snowing, which is most places in the country, and we'll be following up. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Hope to see you soon, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye-bye.